betting brand for sports fans. That's better. Gamble responsibly.
This is Punters Inside Run. James Lamb out, Nick H in, and you mentioned it last week because we talked about the fact that we didn't have anything special, no big money races, and you mentioned it only takes a week, and we're back with the Ingham.
That's right, a little quiet week last week, but $2 million and got the full field, of course, but a fitting favourite, of course, for the Ingham with Nugget.
Why is this worth $2 million?
Yeah, well, it's previously the Villiers Stakes.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Right, there you go. That clarifies it for a few people, because I think people are looking at it going, what's the Ingham and why is it worth $2 million? But yeah, it's the old Villiers.
It is indeed, and obviously a nice path to the Donny perhaps for the winner, and it's got the full field for emergencies. Nugget, one of those emergencies.
Let's talk about that. I mean, we'll get to our tips shortly, but second emergency at the moment. Is it a fingers crossed situation that a couple decide, or is it some phone calls made on a Friday night? We'll give you a little sling if you decide to scratch it.
There might be a few, but you think when it is a $2 million race, it is a little bit harder to get a few to scratch. So it might have to wait for the race after, unfortunately.
If it's a short price favourite to win that next race, but if it does race, does it change your situation?
I think with the barrier, still a huge chance. It was a massive win last start, but I'll probably stick with who I've got on top, but clearly Nugget. If it runs, big chance.
Let's get to the elephant in the room. And it's the horse you've tipped more times than any other horse in the history of racing. Brutality.
This is a long drawn out romance between Brutality and I. Eventually there's going to be a payoff.
Yeah.
And we're both going to lie back and smoke a cigarette and think that was great. But I'm just waiting for that.
Or you're going to swipe.
I'm waiting for the climax, Matty. It's not happening. I don't know what's going on. Nick, am I mad? Should I be going again?
You go again. Off last week, you just had a perfect run for this. Had the big weight.
Got home nicely.
And I watched it. I watched it last week and I thought, gee, that's a really good trial for something. I didn't expect to see him a week later. And I thought, of course, the Ingham, here we are. The punishment continues.
What about some of the other form races leading into this that we can think about?
Yeah, obviously got coming from everywhere here.
Yeah.
And my top picks coming into it fresh here with Huerta, but look, you could make a case for so many in this race. Mm-hmm. As we mentioned, Nugget, the favourite there, but a lot of the favourites have drawn wide. The other top...
It's amazing how many the numbers have drawn wide in this race, isn't it?
Yeah.
So a luck in running will play a part, but I just think with Huerta, you've got a horse that is genuine weight for age standard. We saw that in Brisbane. I'm not sure too many would beat Maximal and Sharkie under weight for age. Has to do it fresh, but I think he's got enough sprint in his legs to do it over a mile.
And he's only here because he had a little setback during the spring that just sort of derailed things, but a $2 million race is not a bad little consolation target.
Absolutely. It might work out beautifully for him.
All right, take us through your top three then for the Ingham.
Yeah, so Huerta on top there, the top weight, number one. Nuggets in the mix.
Yep.
We've just got to wait outside of that. I do have Brutality in the numbers.
This is amazing.
It may be all coming to Saturday.
Next, yeah.
And Diamal as well.
Yep.
I think the draw really important for Diamal because a horse that does get a little bit back, but from barrier 4 can sort of go midfield rather than getting
because a lot of them are drawn very wide, as we mentioned. I know what you've got on top. You've got Brutality on top.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking for reasons, like some sort of spiritual guidance. 17's my lucky number as of the fields coming out. I did an article on Regan Bayliss once. He called me a good bloke, so that's a good pointer. And he's drawn barrier 14, and I've probably lost $14 million backing Brutality in the last month or so. So he's on top. Diamil, number 14, next best. I love the draw. I reckon he's drawn to get the absolute gun run in this race. And Skylab, number 9, next best for me.
All right, well, I've gone for Nugget if it does get a run on top. Otherwise, I'm going with Brutality, Huerta, as you mentioned. And if Nugget doesn't get a start, I'll throw in Dajran as my third pick. But we're all around the mark.
We are.
And we're hoping for your sake.
Well, pray for Sharkie.
Hoping for your kids, yeah. All right, let's move on to some other tips for the day at Randwick.
Yeah, best bet in one of the other features in race 7 there with Waihaha Falls. Third up now. I think this is his race. 2 runs have been pretty good. First up, excuses with the wide draw. Had the big weight, albeit the winner did too there second up, but I think now with the step up in grade, big drop in weight. Yeah. It's got a nice turn of foot, and I think with that drop in weight, that'll allow us to see that. barrier 6 should be okay. It'll just be that first couple 100 metres. You just want to see him get some cover around midfield. And if we see that, I think he sprints it, and he goes really well at Randwick, importantly.
Yeah, track and distance. So I've landed on him as well as the other horse I want to back on the program. That track and distance stats is so important, particularly at this venue with the rail in this position.
Absolutely.
I've landed on him as my best bet. So while we're talking about it, so we've all agreed that this horse can't win now. Completely cannot win. What about something else to follow?
A bit of value in the last. Always nice to have one in the last. A horse called Banju. Tough as old boots, this horse. Did it really tough out wide last start. Up on the speed, 3 wide, no cover. It was really game in the end. Look, he's a horse that's come through the highways now, and he finds himself in a decent 78 grade. But I think form around like the likes of Cavalier Charles is good enough, and he'll make his own luck. A nice low draw this time. He'll be in a long way.
Shark, got a value bet? No?
Look, Matty, I'm not going to tempt fate. If I'm backing brutality, I don't think I need to be too clever on the day. I think there'll be enough value in him if he wins.
I've got one in race 3, number 14, Operative, at around that sort of $8 mark. It's been racing pretty well. The horses that he's been racing against and beaten at the last couple of starts all placed at Rosehill last week. So I'm hoping Brenton Abdullah has a good day. So because I've got a couple of his tips there. So
beautiful.
Operative in race 3. Well done, Nick. Always good to see you, mate. Fingers crossed Nugget gets a start, but. Good luck with the wetter as well.
Thank you, and fingers crossed. I had a lot of bad luck last week with a few of them.
Getting close.
So surely this week that can turn.
That's what we want to hear on Punters Inside Run. If things don't go right, things will turn.
That's it.
And we'll take a break. We're back with the big call after this.
The betting brand for sports fans. That's better. Gamble responsibly.